just said, and I think I would add, make connections. I think this is a common strategy that we use when we're teaching reading to children, but it really works in this context too. When children are able, when you can relate what the children are seeing in a book to their lives and then have conversations relating back to them, then all of a sudden the abstract becomes more concrete. And so that's a huge way to do it. And do that by asking questions. I think, for example, if you're seeing, if you're reading a book and it has a character that looks like your child, or that might look like one of their friends, you can say, oh, who does that look like? And what makes you think that? Or do you also like to do whatever activity that the character is doing in the book? And then you can have a whole discussion where the child's gonna bring up what they're noticing. And sometimes they're not going to bring up what you're hoping they're going to notice either, right? So that happens too. And with that, that's okay. And that's why I agree with Aja, have multiple readings, because what you really want to do is talk about what the child is noticing. And then you might, bring in subtle clues of, oh, well, I noticed this. Did you notice that? And see if they're going to have that conversation with you. I wouldn't recommend forcing it upon kids. I think these conversations happen over time and they're not going to happen in one moment. And so I think being patient is really important. And then my second tip would just really be, if you're going to read a book that has some difficult content, or content that you think, wow, could raise some interesting questions, definitely read it before sharing it with your child so that you're ready to answer the questions or the things that might come up as they're reading it. So that goes for teachers and parents, I think. I think as a teacher, I definitely made the mistake of reading a book that I didn't necessarily know what was inside, and then some interesting questions came up. And I think that can very much be avoided if you just simply read it through and do a little thinking yourself ahead of time.
Let's